Yes, lovely.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the part 2 continuation as we are going to make our snake game clone. And it's a tutorial series which we are going to implement that game using our Armory3D Game Engine. In the previous video, we left off here. We had our snake head being spanned at 650 and we have our grid all set up well. Now, what we are going to do is we want to move this snake head because in the actual implementation of the game, you can see that the snake head starts moving around. That's what we want to accomplish. So I'm going to close here and then I'm going to go on my script. Remember, I attached it on the camera object in the previous video. So I'm going to select camera here and then I'm going to go on object and then I'm going to go on edit script. So I launch my code editor. And here we are. This is the script which we did on the previous video. Now, in order to implement movement, we need to make sure we set the direction well, because what the game should do is, if the direction is right, it should just go on the right. And if the player presses up, it should go up. And if the player presses left, it should go to the left. So to do that, we need a variable which we are going to say private variable direction, and we are going to initialize it to, we want to go right, so I'll just say 2. 2 is right. We will see that in the moment. And now we need a function, a new function, which we declare in Armory3D hex as follows. You just type function, and the function is called set direction, like so. And then we add the brackets, and then we add the braces. And now what happens with this set direction? It will listen to keys which have been pressed by the player, and then it sets the direction accordingly. So whenever we talk about listening to keys, we need to import another class called the input class. So I'm going to import it like this. Import ion.system.input. So this is the class that has all the controls and the listening. And what we're now going to do in this function is we are going to listen if that class input, which is a method called getKeyboard. We will make our game for mobile also, but for now we are targeting PC. And then we go on, we want it when the player, let's say, released the key. So released, what are you going to do? Oh, mind me, I added the braces wrongly. So we add the braces after released. In the released, we need to state the key which we are listening to. So for here, we want up key, so that we set the direction. And what I'm going to do is up will be going up, so the direction will be 1. So we are going to set direction is equal to 1, like so. Else if. So I'm a lazy programmer, ladies and gentlemen. I will just copy some of these things so that I don't type them again. But I'm sure you've got the concept. So we need the braces now. So to go right, we'll add a 2. So down. Oh, it's right. Sorry. Just did it now. And then direction will be equal to 2. And then I'm going to copy this else if again and edit for the remaining directions. Remember, there are 4. So keyboard down, you set the direction to 3. If keyboard left, which is the remaining, you set the direction to 4, like this. So that's how we are going to set our directions. And this function will not run unless we call it. We need to call it in our public function new. So where do we call it? We'll call it in the notify on update here. So I'm going to uncomment it. And then I'm going to now call this function. So remember this, the notify on update loops. So it will constantly listen as the game is running, constantly listening. So that's why we are calling it here. If we call it in the notify on init, it will listen only once at the beginning of the game and done. It will not loop back. So set direction, we'll call him here. We'll call him here. Lovely. So now we can now set the direction. What we now need is an array where we will store the objects that are attached to the body. And to declare an array, how do we do that? We are going to say, maybe it's a private var or not, we'll just say var. And this array, we'll call it snake body is equal to, and then this is an array, so we're going to add new array, and this array will contain what? It will contain object types. So we're going to say it will contain objects, which are ion.object.object, like so, and then we'll add the brackets here. So this code will just set a new array called snake body, which is expected to be loaded with the objects. I hope it's clear. So this snake body, the first thing we need to do is to add that head into it. So on init here, where we spanned this head, what we will do after everything is we are going to go snake body dot. In order to add an element in the array, right at the end of the array, if there are existing elements, we use the push method, and then we are going to push who? The head. Oh, sorry, okay, it's an object. So this is an object from here. We already declared the object. So we are going to add the head. So as the head is spanned, it will be added into the snake body array. I hope it's clear. Now, we want to move this body now. In order to move it, so as the game is starting, we have spanned our head, we have pushed it into the array. What we need now is another function called moveHead. So how do we declare functions? I'm sure you're now an expert. Function moveHead, brackets, braces like this. It doesn't return anything. It's just a block of code we are putting somewhere. This is very important when we are debugging. If something doesn't work, we know function moveHead is the problem, and we look there. Our code doesn't get junky. So the moveHead, what does it do? Now we need to use some logic. As we spanned our head, we added it to the snake body array, which means the snake body array already stored that. So it's the first element of the array. When we are implementing arrays, the first element will be set at index 0. Arrays sort of like start at 0, like 0, 1, 2, 3, as they count their objects. So the first element, remember, it's at index 0. So we want to call that element the head for it to move. We are going to say snake body, the name of the array, and we put these type of brackets here. You can see them. And then we add 0 like this. And then we have called the head. So it's the first element, snake 0. And what we are going to do here now, we need to first listen to the direction so that we know where to move it. So I'm just going to add another if statement here. If direction is equal, like this, equal double equal sign. If direction is equal to 1, so we add it at the middle, and then we're just going to indent this code. So snakeboard 0 dot. So we are going to set the location of the head as we are moving it. There are many methods to move the head. We can translate it, we can move it, or we can set the location. And from here, I'm going to favor the lock set function. So what we are going to do is to say snakebody dot lock. Okay, we need to call transform first because that's where it is contained, and then we lock, and then we set the position. The logic here is this. The object say it is at 0, 0. If it goes up, everything remains constant except the y-axis. Let me check the grid. As you can see, if our head is here at 0, 0, and it goes here, for us to set it up, everything will be constant. All location variables are constant except the y-axis. So what we are going to do, how do we know the actual location of that head? We are going to say snake body 0 dot transform dot lock dot x. So remember, by direction 1 we are going up positive y. As you can see from my grid here, we are going positive y. So we're just going to say snake body 0 dot transform dot lock dot x, comma, and we are now going to affect the y axis. So we're going to go snake body 0 dot transform dot lock dot y, and we are going to move it one step up. So we are just going to add +1. So to the y axis, to the y location of that head, move one step up. And then the z axis, we will just copy and change z. Lazy programming here. I don't really like retyping things I've typed before. So I'm sure this code will move us up. Now let's go else if direction will be equal to 2. What will happen? I'm going to copy and just alter the values here like this. I'm sure you understand what I did there. So if direction is 2, we are moving to the right. So we are affecting who? We are affecting the x-axis, and we are going positive x-axis. So I'll just come here on lock x and add a +1. And remember, the y-axis should now remain constant. And then I'm going to copy this for the remaining directions. Like so. And we have 3 and we have 4. Like this. So what we are going to do, 3 we are going down, so we are affecting the y but in the negative way. So we are subtracting 1 like this. And then 4 we are going left, which is negative x. So we are just affecting the x-axis like this, the x-axis -1. So I'm sure the lock set will serve us well here. Now remember, to activate the changes, we need to use our transform. We need to call, the object is snake body 0 dot transform dot build matrix like this. And then, so now it's time to move the head. Where are we going to call this function? Let's go in our public function here. We'll call it on the notify on update because we want it to constantly listen and move. But we don't want it to just move fast like it sets and goes. What we want it to do is after a certain time it moves. After a certain time it moves. So thus we are now making use of time. And we need to import the time class. So we are just going to go import ion.system.time. What do we want with time? We want the delta time. Very important for our frames. So what we are going to do is add a variable private var. We'll call it time move, like time to move. Okay, I left var here. These are errors that will pop, right? We'll initialize it to 0.0. We're just telling our game engine that this is a float value. And then we're going to constantly update it in the notify on update. So time move plus equals time dot delta. So that it will constantly increment that time by time dot delta. And what we are going to do now is to check if time move is greater than, let's say, 0.2, like this. What should you do? You should move that snake head. So we are just going to call move head like this. So that after 0.2 seconds, if time just gets greater than 0.2, move. And then we should reset that time so that it works. So we're going to say time move is equal to 0.0. So after you move the head, reset, re-increment, you reach that value, start again, something like this. That's the logic. So I'm going to test this and see if I get any errors. So I'm just going to press Ctrl S to save. I'm now going in my Blender, and remember the initial direction is right, so hopefully it will work well. Let's see. And we have an error, and let me check what the error is. Okay, on line number 13, I left some brace. So I left some brace. Okay, yeah, true. There should be double braces here. Yeah, I'm just paying for being lazy, copying and pasting. So I'm just start again. And there we have, yes, our snake head is moving, although it's moving off bounds. But if I press up, it goes up. If I press right, it goes right. If I press down, it goes down. If I press... So you can see now, after 0.2 seconds, it moves. Now we have a moving snake head. But in the actual implementation of the game, you can see if I press left, right, this is not allowed. The snake should just rotate and face the other direction, just like how snakes act. So maybe we can fix that now. So let me close. At least our snake is moving. And also you can see that it is moving off bounds. What I want with this snake is, if it reaches this point here, it should come out the other side. So let's implement that real quick. Very easy, very easy. So the move head, I'm sure, is the one we should affect. So the first rule is you cannot press up while we are moving down, and you cannot press down while we are moving up. So we need to check for such changes. And how are we going to do that? So I'm sure to change that, we need to go on the set direction here. So how should it work? If you have pressed up, make sure you are not going down. I think that's the first thing we need to check. So to do that, we'll do like this. We'll add another if to check here. If, okay, I just wanted to type check. What I want to do is to check the previous direction. If direction was equal to 3, okay, let's make sure the direction was not equal to 3. Not equal, we add the exclamation and the equal. Then you are free to change direction. Otherwise, don't change the direction. So we can go and say else direction is equal to 3. So I'll just cross check. 3 is down. So if you were going down and you press up, then we will remain going down. We are not going to allow that. So we are going to do this check for all. Here we need to check if you were going left. So if direction is not equal to 4, like this, then we tap else, keep that direction the same. Direction is equal to 4. And then we are going to check also if you were moving down. Let's first check if you were not moving up. So if the previous direction is equal, okay, not equal to 2. So we're just going on opposite sides and just checking with the opposite. Then if it is not equal to 2, if we're not going that side, then good, we can change the direction. Otherwise, we don't allow that. Direction should remain 2. Is it 2 here? Okay, 3 is opposing 1. Okay, very sorry. We need to go 1 here. We need to go 1 here. And then 4 opposes 2. Yeah, that's the logic. So if direction is not equal to 2, the opposite one, then yes, feel free to change direction. Otherwise, remain where you were previously were. So remain at 2, like this. Right? So I'm sure we have employed the rule whereby you cannot go back while you are going the opposite direction. Now, our snake is also moving off bounds, the snake head. So what we need to do is to check its location to make sure it stays. We need to check its location to make sure it stays inbound. And the best way to do that is to implement another if. After we execute here this move, what we will do is say snake body, but here I need to check my grid also. So here it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's 11. So if snake in the x-axis, snake body 0, the head. Okay, I need to go before the build matrix. So what we are going to do here, I'll just take this up. We are going to ask move head. If the snake body, like after moving it, we now need to check where is it standing. So if the snake body 0, which is the first object in that snake array, and we want its current location, which is transform.log.x, if it equals to 11, then you need to put it to 0. So, which means I've just copied this code here, the one we use for setting. Lazy programming again. I just don't enjoy retyping things I've typed before. I hope other game devs can relate. So what we are going to do, if your X position is at 11, which is the final box of the grid, then make sure you set it at 0. So we are going to set here the transform.log at 0, the x1, and then the rest remains constant like this. And then now we need to check the bounds, the opposite one. Else if this snake head here is now at 0, so in other words it was moving to the left and then it stepped at 0. Okay, I had to put it here. My apologies, like in here, and then here I need to delete this one. Okay, so if it is at 0, then make sure you set it at 11 so that it comes out on the other side. Okay, sorry, I'm deleting the wrong thing. I want this 0 to be 11. And then now we need to check also the Y grid, the Y boundaries. So we are now checking the Y boundaries. And then I'm just going to copy again so that I work a little faster, and then just outer X here to be Y. So for the Y, our boundaries are what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 again. Lovely. So if our Y is equal to 11, then set the Y to be 0. So I'll just copy the one I implemented for the X, like so. And then I'm just going to go, okay, this time X remains the same. So I'll just remove X here. And now this is now my X. And then now I'm going to add another one for the Y here, which will be 0, like so. Just to save time. And then I'm going to go again, else if, and then bracket. Now we are checking if Y is 0. So if the snakehead is now at 0 and is about to step out of bound, then teleport it. Yes, we are teleporting it to 11. So I'll just copy this one for the Y and see if the snake moves well. Control V and then 11. So teleport it to 11 like so. Woo! Hopefully this works. Hopefully this works. So we're just going to play. And then you can see here our snake is moving, but the teleport seems not to be working well because it is spanning here. So we just need to go minus. I will correct that. And then let's go for the Y. Are we working well? Okay, again, we are missing this box. It should teleport to here. We will fix that in a moment. Now let's see the rule. If I press right, I'm pressing right now. It doesn't allow me to go back the other direction. If I press up and press down, it doesn't allow me. The only way to go down is to go first, go side, and then you go down, okay? So let's fix the teleporting maybe. And what we need to do is to ensure we set to minus here. So let's set these things to -1. Maybe I misread my grid. Is there any other 0? I don't think so. Okay, here. So you need to go on to -1 like so. Any other 0? None. So I'm sure all is well. Let's see if it teleports well. Exactly. Now it is teleporting well as I expected. And let's go up and see what happens. You can see, lovely. So if I'm going up and if I press down, it doesn't allow me. As you can see, I'm pressing down. If I'm going right and I press back, it doesn't allow me. The only way for me to go back again to left is to go here and then I come here. So the snake head is moving well. And this is lovely, this is lovely, this is lovely. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you. Please do subscribe if you're new, like and share my videos. Catch you on the other video. From here, I'm sure we are now going to go on the snake food. So make sure you tune in. Thank you very much.